Welcome back to Elevation 44. It's your girl B. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, family. Today we are gathered here. Today to discuss this Pisces new moon, okay? Which is happening on March 2nd, and it will be happening at 12:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a powerful sequence, and if you can look up that number, you have the time to look up that number, please do look up angel number 1, 2, 3, 4. But besides that, if you're not in the Eastern time zone, you're gonna have to translate this to your local time zone, all right? And this new moon is happening at 12 degrees, okay? And we're gonna come back to that in a second. But first off, if you're new to working with the new moon energy, hi, welcome to this channel where we talk about this type of stuff. All right, so new moons are a great time. There are two things that you can do at a new moon. One, which is what most people align it with, is setting your intentions, aka planting those seeds for healing, growth, manifestation, all of the above, right? And then another thing is releasing, because the dark moon is a time where we can do a lot of releasing, okay? So there are two main things that you can do with a new moon, but most people like to set their intentions, but healing is very, very important too, okay? So you can always set the intention to heal. But anyway, back to the degrees, because I'm really chatty, I'm all over the place today. Ride with me. This new moon, I said, is happening at 12 degrees. Now, 12 in numerology boils down to the number 3, because in numerology we always want to boil it down to a single digit number unless it's a master number like 11, 22, 33, etc., right? And 3 is interesting for this new moon. It is a really interesting thing. Interesting timing, not in a bad way, in a very, very good way. And we'll talk about that because 3 is the number that's tied to spiritual mastery. Also, the number 3, the real reason why I say it's interesting is because we just experienced this 2, 2, 2, 2. I think I got enough twos. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 5 twos portal that happened on February 22nd. Now, I don't know how much you've heard about that portal, that day. I don't know, what you've read, what you've felt even on that day, what you even decided to do in terms of capitalizing on that particular energy, but that was a very auspicious time. That portal opening, that energy is like literally shifting us into a new direction. And when you add up to February 2nd, February 22nd, it's too many twos, y'all, I'm sorry. February 22nd, 2022, when you added up all those digits together, guess what number you get? You get the number 12, which also breaks down to 3, okay? So this energy portal is still open, it's still flowing. And 3 is also tied to Jupiterian energy, which is very auspicious. So that 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, I think I got enough twos. That 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 portal was a very auspicious time to set things into motion, new things into motion, but it's not so much about new actionable things that we're setting into motion, like the traditional things like, I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z. It's more about shifting us into a space where it's more heart-centered, heart-focused, and it's about spiritual mastery. We're moving more out of the masculine-driven, actionable, energy that we've been operating in as a collective for so long, and we're really moving into that heart-centered emotion, feeling, compassion, feminine, receptive, magnetizing energy, okay? And this is the direction switch that I'm talking about. It's really pushing us there. There are 3 things that we need to know with this new moon. First of all, number 1, Jupiter is going to be conjunct this new moon. This new moon is also going to connect with Neptune, which is in the sign of Pisces. Then the third thing we want to keep in mind is that this new moon is going to be sextile which means it's going to be having an easy flow of communication with Uranus, okay? And that is going to give us the courage to really step into the unknown, okay? So let's talk about Jupiter. Actually, let's talk about Jupiter and Neptune together because they're both sitting in the sign of Pisces. They're both going to be conjunct this new moon at some point. And they both have a lot to do with Piscean energy because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces and Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. So both of these planets are very much at home in Pisces. Jupiter has two expressions of itself, right? Because Jupiter has its feminine expression, which is in Pisces, and then it has its masculine expression, which is in Sagittarius. And in Pisces, it really is about your faith. And the faith gets tied back to the spiritual mastery part because we cannot master self in the highest octave if we are not tied into our faith, okay, in our belief. And that's also where Neptune comes in because both of them kind of work together or work in similar aspects, right? Jupiter really is centered around faith, Neptune, that spirituality and that belief, but they go hand in hand. And faith is literally believing in things that you cannot see, right? So the two of them together in the sign of Pisces, beautiful energy. This new moon also coming in, beautiful time to set intentions or change the direction of how you've been operating, right? Are you being led by feeling, by emotion, by your intuition, by the higher aspects of self? Or are you still clutched onto fear? You know, because the other side of faith is fear. So if it's not clear, this is a time where you should be setting intentions. Number one, on having active faith and practicing active faith. Again, belief in the things that you do not see, trusting your intuition, being led by spirit and not by the physical circumstances or the things that you can necessarily grasp with your five senses. And it's also a time for releasing that fear, transmuting that fear into faith. So besides Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces blending their magic together with this new moon to help us move out of that fear, to transmute that into faith, where we are having active faith, where we are setting a different course into motion and being led by higher self, our intuition, right? Whatever you want to call it. Another thing that is supporting us in this energy is the sextile between the new moon and Uranus, right? And this is really helping us, really supporting us rather, to help us change our mindset, our current paradigm, our current, habits, everything that just our mindset, right? I'm just going to leave it at that. Our mindset about how we are currently operating, the thoughts, the things that we are currently doing that is not helping us get to where we need to go, okay? So this is going to help spark our intuition, this sextile, because the sextile is just an ease of, flow of energy going between the two of them. So Uranus is going to help us. It's going to spark that intuition, because Uranus is like flashes of insight and just quick downloads and just, like a wind that comes in and just changes the whole direction of everything. And that's going to support us in helping us move out of the stagnation or, basically our fear mindset, that lack of faith mindset, and into a place where we are able to tap into our intuition, make decisions, embrace the changes that we need to do for our minds, okay? So info just comes to you under this transit. It just hits you. All of a sudden, it just hits you and you're like, wow, like, where did that come from, and why haven't I really gotten this until now? Like, why hasn't it registered until this exact moment? Okay, so here's the power crystal that I want you to work with during this Pisces new moon: amethyst, because amethyst helps strengthen your intuition. Amethyst is really about spiritual connection. Amethyst is about spiritual protection. Amethyst is really tapping into those higher octaves, that higher realm, that higher level of energy, okay, and insight. So when we talk about planets Uranus, when we talk about Jupiter, when we talk about Neptune, I can't think about a better crystal than amethyst to work with during this time. The affirmation that I'm going to leave you with to work with this new moon is: I trust what I'm feeling because my intuition is never wrong. So I have a little exercise, ritual, whatever you want to call it, that you can do for this Pisces new moon. And it's really about shifting out of the fear into the faith, into that spiritual mastery, into that feeling, intuition, into that heart, and really just kind of putting all of this into practice, right? So the first part of this exercise is I want you to do an audit of your current thoughts. And when I mean an audit, I mean I want you to sit with yourself. Either you make a dedicated time where you sit with yourself for a certain period of time, undistracted, and allow your thoughts to flow. And think, and then write down what thoughts came up as you sat with yourself. I want you to write the positive ones that came up, and I want you to write the negative ones that came up. Now, if you're not going to sit down and make like a dedicated time to do this, you can also observe your thoughts throughout the day. You just have to be mindful that you're doing this exercise and remember to observe your thoughts throughout the day. So it might be easier to just sit down and do it in like one swoop, right? But if you can do that as well. Now, again, I want you to write down both positive and negative thoughts that come up. And then I want you to, at the end of the day or the next day, whenever you look at them, I want you to look at all of the negative ones that come up, if any negative ones come up. And I want you to reword them so that they are shifted into a positive manner. I'm going somewhere with this. Stay with me, okay? Then after you have written down or turned all the positive ones and reworded them into, the negative ones and reworded them into positive ones, I want you to then take all of those positive statements, because it's either your positive thoughts that you originally had or the negative ones you turned into positive ones, and I want you to sit in front of the mirror. And I want you to say those things to yourself in the mirror, and I want you to look at yourself dead in the eye when you're saying them. And as you're saying them, I want you to take note of the reaction that you're having physically when you say them. The ones that you truly believe are going to sit well within your spirit. You're going to feel good. You're going to smile maybe at yourself. You're going to nod. You're going to, it's going to sit well with you. You're going to be at ease. You're going to be at peace. And the ones that you flipped from negative into positive statements, as you say them, they might bring up a little bit of you might be uncomfortable, or you might take a deep sigh after you say them, or you might have an emotion. Sit with it and see how your body feels. Again, this is an exercise on tapping into feeling, right? Being guided by our true deep emotion and not necessarily what we're logically told or telling to ourselves. What do we truly feel, right? Because that really governs what we believe, and that governs our faith in things, right? Or our fear. So I want you to do that exercise and see what comes up. And then I want you to consistently work on those areas that come up that are uncomfortable, that don't feel good, that your body is telling you I am still, even though I'm saying this and it sounds good on paper, it's still not registering with me because I don't believe it deep down inside. And then that's how you're going to slowly transform. You're going to be actively aware of the things that are holding you back in terms of being in that fear mindset or that fear space and not, having faith or, So anyway, when we get to Aries season, we'll have we'll have more on that. But I want you to stop there and just, you know, do that exercise. And that can also help you set your intentions on the things that you need to work on in terms of spiritual mastery, in terms of leveling up, following your intuition, leaving fear behind. What are those fearful things that you do need to release? You don't know until you do these exercises that help you identify them, okay? So that is what I want to leave you with in terms of an exercise, so your true feelings come up and you identify things. And then also in the comments below, I want you to leave me one negative thought, okay? Leave down below one negative thought you'd like to release. It could be big, it could be small, it really doesn't matter. It just matters to you. Like, just release it. Leave it down in the comments and let it go. That's what we want to do. This is going to be like a little release, right? So leave that down in the comments, and whew, I'm done. I am so done. I'm so done. I feel like I've been talking, and I think it's because this is my third time, speaking of number 3, my third time recording this video, because weird stuff just keeps happening and I keep having to stop, and then I'm like, where did I leave off? I gotta restart this video. So if it seems a little piecemeal, that's that too, but thank you for sticking with me thus far. And Pisces gang, Piscean gang, where y'all at? Where my Pisces moons at? Where my Pisces suns at? Who's celebrating their solar return? Hit me in the comments down below. Again, this is an auspicious time. This is a great time. This is beautiful energy. This is helping align us and move us in. I don't know, like there's just so much to say and I can't say it all, so I'm just gonna leave it there. It's a great time to capitalize on this energy. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I want to wish you a happy new moon. I hope that the ritual or the exercise is helpful to you, and I will see you all in the next one for the Aries. Well, no, let me not jump that far. We still got Virgo full moon to do. We still got Virgo, which is the polarity to Pisces energy, which is very much about the physical, whereas Pisces is about the spiritual. So we're gonna get into that Virgo full moon, and then we're gonna start our new year. All right, so I will see you all in the next one. I love you so much. Have a good one. Peace.